It's the Cable League. MTGO Show.
That's it. That's the shit. That's the shit right there. That's the good shit. I'm gonna turn this music up a little bit. Gotta hear it over my own incessant prattling. Prattle. Yeah, if I feel like drafting blue, I like taking blue power over Moxen and stuff. If you like staying open, taking the Moxes. Pretty good too. Really kind of a playstyle call there. If the power wasn't in the pack, I'd be looking at Ballista or probably Reanimate. I think would be the two that speak to me as a drafter. Hey, sup, Trolley? Hey, Big Titty Goth Girlfriend. A Loose Moose, Keppel, everybody. Yeah, I was just saying that I like taking Time Walk if I'm in the mood to draft blue. I like taking it over the colorless power, which it's like, do you want to cut blue or do you want to stay open, right? That's kind of the decision point there. When you're dealing with cards of like comparable power level. So we passed an Emery, which pairs well with this Mishra's Bauble. I remember Bauble wheeling a lot last cube season. I think I'm just going to keep cutting blue. We did pass a Murktide, so like taking days and trying to do the tempo thing. Could be intuitive. I think I'm going to take Mystic Confluence. A powerful card. Now we're just going to grab Ponder. Limerlens is a new addition. I liked it in the Cartography cube. I have that new bunny. I've got the Regal Bunny in my personal cube. I think it fits the, pilot token stuff that you can do in Vintage Cube sometimes. Dump your hand real fast. Luminous is good, though. Who doesn't like drawing cards? Oh, damn! Oh, yeah. We got that I'm actually level 1 raid. Welcome, raiders. If any of y'all want to watch actual Vintage as opposed to this Vintage Cube, you should be watching I'm actually level 1. The Mystics' Mastery seems pretty good with its Time Walk, huh? Way to flash that back. Kind of thinking that. Frantic Search is an option. Palantir is an option. Cauldra, if you're thinking about being blue-white for Stoneforge. Fingers crossed no one takes the seal removal. Yeah, Chad made such a good point. Like, why is that not Aether Spellbomb? In a cube with, like, Emery and all that stuff. I do like Seal of Removal's border. I'll give it that. It does have a sweet border. A lot of cards that I love here. Time Warp, top. Dig Through Time. Let's grab Warp. And Faithless Leading for the Mastery, maybe. Maybe. Get that rolling. Greaves is back, yeah. I think that was my favorite swap. Hey, Lupa Crudo thinks the 36 months, the 3 years. Stowaway is another way to bin. Big ol' instants and sorceries. I feel like Mirage Mirror is this giant fucking brick that got added to the cube. I've played with it a lot. I've played with it in a lot of cubes. So it's not coming from nowhere. It is a clunky card. Maybe the explosive mana in Vintage Cube will make it better. You like Workshop Academy deck? I don't know. We'll grab Zerta here. I like doing Zerta stuff. Yeah, we didn't really take the artifacts for Emery. Zerta does point you in that direction. I might try this Oliphant card, see if I like it. Oh, Daze came back. Interesting. Yeah, Daze is good. Enlightened Tutor, I mean, if we got the Zerta combo going, I would want the E-Tutor. Maybe that's too much. Maybe that's too much stuff going on in one deck. White's looking very open. Hell yeah, Mark. Long live the cube. Yeah, basically, I just think there should be like as few bricks as possible in a cube. It's very late for an Usher. Just nobody's in white aggro. Like, I think if you just, like, cut the 5 least drafted cards every Vintage Cube cycle and replace them with bangers, you would be very close to what you're supposed to be doing in terms of managing it. Cut the cards people don't want. Add the cards people do want. Hey, come back, Tango thinks that's 69 months. Nice. Hey, Workshops thinks that's 67 months. Also nice. Jim's deck was really cool in the Modern Super League. Yeah, I played against it a few times. I really feel like I played poorly against him in that game 3. I was terrified of a Cascade spell, and so I was like, I don't know. I played scared. I think that was my game to lose. Sure, I mulled to 5, but I had double cord, and I should have been able to work something together. I'm gonna take my Fiery Confluence here. Another good instant or sorcery to flashback. Seed Shark's very tempting. Seed Shark might actually be... Yeah, I'm gonna take Seed Shark. Changed my mind like 3 times. And then this is between Bolt and Jace for me. Jace playing pretty well with the extra turn effects, though, so I'll grab it. There's other burn spells, right? Oh, man, that's a late Shieldred. Mystic Sweet for getting Walk. I mentioned this when I did my my review of the changes. And when people have asked it, I do think Soul Cauldron's going to be a dud. I think you kind of need to put it in a cube with either a lot of, like... Just, like, a lot of stuff that's going on towards it. Like I think this card would be perfect for Carmen Handy's Proliferate cube. If any of you are familiar with that cube, it seems perfect for that. A lot of sweet activated abilities. That cube very much cares about 1/1 counters. In this cube, there's like a couple of cards that combine with it, but it's just like not going to be consistently good. I think it's going to end up being a dud. And I'm like pretty confident about that. Anyway, I'm trying to decide between Mystical Tutor and Mortars. I guess I'll take the Tutor. Love a Shark Typhoon. There's a Ketria Triumph here. This comes in play tap dually. What card would I cut from all the cards I've seen in these packs? I don't like that seal at all, the unsummon that we saw in the first pack. That one's perplexing to me. The 4-drop Angel, when I was talking about like cutting the cards that get drafted the least, the 4-drop green-white Angel I think is a dud. I hope if Agatha's gets like proven to be a dud, it does get cut. I'm gonna take Arc Trail here. I like this card. A lot of cards that I like in that pack. Bitter Reunion, Shark Typhoon. A lot of good cards. Could only draft 1, though. Tali's sweet. Vanillion Click's cool. Narset's cool. Let's take Narset here. We're very spell-based. Can we get away with this Chrome Mox? So I like Chrome Mox in decks that are making up for the card disadvantage by casting the Chrome Mox. So you use it to cast like a Planeswalker a turn earlier, then all of a sudden you've like made up for that card disadvantage, but we only have like a couple of things that are doing that currently. I'm going to grab it because the only other option here is like potentially splashing white for Path, which is a real option, but ooh, yeah, well, speaking of cards that are worth Chrome Moxing out, huh? And this is between Battlesphere, Image, and Umezawa's. When I'm the next trophy leader, I can cut it. Yeah, right. Yeah, he came in and was like defending some of his choices, and like I appreciated him like sharing his reasoning with me, but some of it seemed like it was very him specific, which I don't think is how you should be making decisions in a cube that's like for everybody, right? Like his personal win rate with cards probably shouldn't be a big factor. Or like what cards his friends like or that sort of thing. Again, going back to like whatever is consistently going in the last 3 picks. The dregs. The dregs are probably what should be cut. Because the cube's done a lot of that over the last like couple of seasons. One of the reasons that I think this version of the cube is better than we've seen in a long time It's because a lot of the dregs did get cut. But we can do more. We can go further with it. We can cut, like, Birthing Pod and shit. Cards that, like, get played, like, you see played, like, once a cube season. After, like, tens and tens and tens, hundreds of drafts, you know? Forley Beef with the 42 months there. Oh, the Shark Typhoon wield and bitters in here. I'm going to take the Shark Typhoon. Forley Beef said, I saw Beast in Black last night and it was awesome. Pretty sure I first saw them on here, so cheers. Hell yeah, Forley Beef. I'm very jealous that you caught that tour. I really wanted to catch that tour. I looked at, like, flights to catch that tour. But I'm sure I'll catch them sometime. The one pod stip for the season. I haven't even got one of those. I haven't gotten a pod stip since it was cut initially. I think Carmen was correct to cut, like, pod and stuff. And then there were, like, a few random whiners that, like, only show up to draft once per cube season. They were, like, overly loud on social media. But when it was gone, I didn't miss it, you know. You don't miss the 15th pick. And that same reasoning covers, like, some of my favorite cards. And that's okay, because, again, the cube's not for me. It's for everybody drafting it. I used Smokestack as the example for that. Eldritch Evolution. Yeah, I could see that card being better. Don't think you need either of them. But I'm sure Evolution would see more play. Fun to stack them out? I think so. I would still win a lot with that fucking card. It's just an unintuitive card, you know? The fucking, Cube Trophy Leader was talking about how he loses with that card. And I was like, well, that's like one of my higher win rate cards overall. For, like, how late I get it. Yeah, people misbuild it. They, like, over-prioritize having, like, value sacrifices. Like, pairing it with stuff like Bitter Blossom and Ophiomancer. Like, oh, man, I'll make this value token, and then I'll have it to sacrifice to my 4-drop. And it's like, well, that's not... What you should be looking to do is play Smokestack as quickly as possible. Like, before your opponent has a board. And if they do have a board, then you want the rest of your deck to, like... nuke some of that so that Smokestack can come online again, so the lock can be relevant again. And if you're naturally building your deck around Smokestack and, like, cards like Balance and Wrath of God and stuff, you'll naturally have a good Smokestack deck. You'll be dumping your hand into play with all these fast artifacts and stuff, have plenty of fodder to sacrifice, especially going into the mid to late game, right, where you, like, no longer need that burst of mana. But yeah, putting it in decks that have, like, Wrath of God, all of a sudden in the late game, your Smokestack, you Wrath their board, and now it's, like, hitting their lands. Or you play a Geddon, and all of a sudden it's hitting their creatures. Black Lotus, heck yeah, we got a Dark Border too. This deck's fucking great. Let's go. Let's go. Poor Volk. Yeah, you also have some, like, really counterintuitive decisions in terms of, like, ticking up Smokestack that I think people fumble a lot. When to tick up, when not to tick up. Whether you want to, like, basically start the game over. Or keep it on 1 for the whole game, or ratchet up then sack it. Or realize if it's just, like, not where you should, what you should be doing. You should be doing other things. Hey, Bob Gar the Warbarian, thanks to the sub, thanks to 66 months. Man, I could write a whole fucking article about Smokestack. You know, just like a little Bitter Blossom stack action. There's nothing wrong with liking that. There's nothing wrong with liking it. I just don't think it's great most of the time. Because most of your Bitter Blossom decks aren't that good at, like, getting the Smokestack down quickly, which I think is much more important. It's the same mentality that got people comparing Smokestack to, like, Braids, right? Like, when Smokestack got cut, Braids got added. Isn't that the thing? But, like, those are just... One of those cards is way more winning than the other. And they're just, like, doing very different things. But they sure do both say sacrifice and cost 4 mana. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this pack. We could once again consider a white splash for Fractured Identity. Maybe Spell Pierce's Dees. Are only some of the power old art? That's a good question. Yeah, it appears so. I'm not sure why we have that old art for Black Lotus and not for Time Walk. Sup, Scalding Tarn. Yeah, let's take the Tarn. Take a little bit of fixing here. Rona, Gear Hulk, both solid. Metamorph, Fencer. Ugly pack for us. Oh, wait, we can do the Cruel Ultimatum Mizzix's Mastery thing. And if we don't have the Mastery, we can cast the Ultimatum off the Black Lotus for triple black. It's free. It's super free. Likely they didn't have a deal with the OG Time Walk artist. Yeah. And Christopher Rush is dead. I am certain that Amy Weber would have been willing to deal to have OG Time Walk. Amy's great. So we do have a Zerda, which we could combine with Grim Monolith. It just doesn't seem that great with the rest of my deck. I guess there's like a couple colorless things in the sideboard we could play. We can think about it. Dream Halls is still in the cube. So Talisman of Progress could help with the Fractured Identity Splash. I think we're cutting Fractured. I think we have like an excess of playables here, and I think that's where the cut's coming from. That said, I was thinking about adding this card. I guess you could count Oliphant as a land. Oliphant plays well with the Chrome Mox too. Oh, shit, what up? Hey, Baller Donk, thanks for the sub, thanks for the 39 months. Baller Donk with some fancy cube math there. Odawara's fucking sweet. So this is Spellseeker. Yeah, I think it's like a really strong Spellseeker, but again, we like kind of have enough playables right now, which makes me want to add value to the mana base, right? Like Odawara is replacing a basic island. Whatever Spellseeker replaces is going to be better than a basic. Is kind of how I evaluate that. God, Mana Leak's good too. It's so hard when your stuff's open. Spell Pierce Wield, Talisman Wield. Do I like Talisman here? Do I like Spell Pierce here? And the Dark Lord Ragnar, I think it's the 40 months. Yeah, we got a couple of random white fixers. I don't think that lets me play Fractured, though. I think I'm going to be cutting them. So payoffs for the Zerda mana, we can cycle Shark Typhoon, make it 20/20 on their end of turn. Is that it? Is that all we're doing? How much does Mastery cost to overload? 8? Could get us to that, I guess. Still need triple red. Yeah, those could just be like the last two cuts. It's just the Zerda combo. I still need one more. Maybe it's Metamorph. It is the new Advent Horizon, yeah. The last track. That album comes out this week. Holy Fancy Land, right? Maybe between Black Lotus, Chrome Mox, and Oliphant. Maybe I want to play one more land. Yeah, I don't need Image and Metamorph. I think Metamorph's better. I'm going to cut Image. Image does go under Chrome Mox, but I don't think that's enough. Metamorph being able to copy artifacts and not dying when it gets targeted. Is it worth playing Canyon just for the draw value? Depends on your deck, depends on the matchup, Asuo. So the slower your deck is, the more it's going to come up that you have to like target, or you have to tap that same land over and over if you're still your only red source. So the bigger the downside is, the slower your deck is. Our deck's kind of slow. We're planning on taking a lot of turns here. Planning on taking a bit. The other consideration is the matchup, right? Like, if you're facing a control deck, then maybe your life total doesn't matter, and maybe it's free. But if you're facing, like, an aggro deck, then it's, like, a pretty big risk. So sometimes I'll start pain lands in the sideboard and then board them in the right matchup. Sometimes I'll start them main deck and then cut them in the wrong matchup, that sort of thing. But that's the sort of stuff you should be thinking about. I still kind of want to play the Zerda combo, but I think we'll get to the 8 for Mizzix's Mastery just by, like, casting Time Walks and hitting land drops and stuff. I think we'll be fine doing it the old-fashioned way. I could play City of Traders. City of Traders could be my last land. I kind of like that, actually. Two swamps for the Cruel Ultimatum. Perfect. All right, we got 4, 5, 6 red sources. Doesn't seem like enough. This would be 8. And then blue, we need at least 8, ideally 9. We've got 6, 7, 8. So I think this is one too many lands, right? Maybe that means that maybe that's why I cut the City of Traders. I don't really like counting the Chrome Mox for either color. Hey, Rivioli, thanks for 53 months there. Getting so hyped for CubeCon. Me too, friend. Me too. I might not Ponder on turn 1 and pitch Ponder to the Chrome Mox to play Narset on 2. This is a spot where Image is better than Metamorph, right? This is like the one spot in deck building that I talked about Image being better. Actually, what if I turn 1 pitch Ponder like this and then have Daze Hardcast up and just like hit their 1-drop and untap Narset? I think that's sick. Library, sure. Yeah, opponent's got turn 1 library on the draw, but they did take a Maul, so they're not going to be immediately drawing. It's actually going to be really, really awkward versus this Narset. Like, they draw up to 7, and then they can't activate. They can activate on my turn, but then they're not playing their land for the turn. So this Narset's actually sick here, just filthy. I think this is hard. I think this is legit hard. The cool thing about taking Lotus there is that Cruel Ultimatum becomes very castable. But maybe that's a bit narrow. Whereas the Time Warp's like probably just gonna be good. Yeah, land pass, yeah. Correct, Mayor Jason. And it's not just me. Like other people in the Madison area. I've been feeling the sting as well. But, hopefully my new ISP, even though they're using the same lines, hopefully it is throttling, because then switching will fix it, right? And then going forward, I won't have to deal with AT&T anymore. Okay. Yeah, I was hoping they had like a Mana Leak type card, because then the Daze would do something. Really wanted to start drawing with Karn with this Warp in hand, right? Oh well. Oh, if you can even get a hold of them, Hippofant. It's a fucking nightmare. And their website's like buggy as shit, and their app's buggy as shit, and yeah, fuck that company. Yeah, for years they've had crashes at 1 a.m. Octafant, and that was fine. That was like not great, but like manageable for me. This is way better than drawing a mountain here. Yeah, I wasn't sure if I would like this better than some other card. Oh, that's not great for me. That's all right. Surely we'll be able to daze whatever they mana drain into for 7. Maybe I should have dazed my own Oliphant to deny them the mana. 7 colorless? That's so much mana. Yeah, server resets and the like. Couple of lines here. I could just kill the Vendilion Click. I could also click myself and get rid of this daze. So the downside of click self, get rid of daze, like sure you get to draw a card, you get value, that's awesome. The downside is if they have any burn spell at all, then they get to clear your Narset. And the Narset might be doing everything right now. We don't know. We don't know what their hand is. I'm just going to do this. We'll find something else to metamorph. Someone's got to play something at some point, right? The T-Mobile whole internet thing. Yeah, I'd be wary of it too, Flounda. I agree, it did look interesting, though. Getting, like, high-speed internet from cell phone connections. Fucking wild. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I would never want to stream off of wireless. So it probably depends on, like, what you want it for. You have issues gaming with it? Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. Probably fine with videos, because you can, like, buffer or whatever. Nice B for Tuna. You hate day and night so much. Me too. Yeah, I very intentionally did not include day and night stuff in my cube. All right, what's going to happen? Are they going to kill me? They are not. They're going to kill Narset. They are. Well, Narset did a lot of work that game. Faithless Looting, oddly compelling here. Time walk, time walk, time walk. There are a few B for Tuna for sure. Come on. Come on. I think there's a reason to hold on to this turn. We already imprinted the Ponder on Chrome Mox. I think that's our only filtering that cares about it. Hey, Spicy Meatball, thanks for the 35 months. Vintage Cube hype. Black Lotus right on time. Black Lotus does make Cruel Ultimatum castable if we find Cruel Ultimatum. Y'all excited to die to Twin on their last turn here? That was a lot of mana. Hot damn. If they didn't have a chumper, I'd be attacking them here. Such a good time walk. I believe we can do better. I might be wrong on that, but that's my belief. God, I was so right. I was so incredibly right. We're blocking? Yeah, that makes sense. And we get a Surveil. That's pretty good. A little bit worried about decking, though, so I'm going to keep that on top, even though it's Garbo. Could play the Stowaway. They're only at 1. I'm going to return Stowaway. Hey, Regus H thinks the sub, thinks the 48 months, the 4 years. You know what, Brando G? I feel like Phyrexian Metamorph is my worst card here by a lot. Like, they didn't really have a lot of good stuff to clone. Whereas versus, like, a chonky green deck, I might be boarding in my second image. Fuck it. Hey, CLE Wizard, thanks the sub, thanks the 7 months there. Yeah, mostly here for Mizzix's Mastery, Daika. We have a few ways of binning it, but it is cute that I could cast off Black Lotus there. Hand needs a little bit of help, but shit. Like, I was planning on Mysticaling for Time Walk. Now I kind of wonder if I should be grabbing Ponder. I think I'm still grabbing Time Walk. And then we'll just, like, play Seed Shark, I guess. Am I in mourning for Sheldock? Yeah, I am. I thought that was a weird cut. Still might play Seed Shark here first, even though I have Narset mana. You're right, Big Titty. Yeah, Sheldock does so much for so many decks. Sometimes I would splash for it in channel decks. So the prime time, good go 2-drop, another way to cast an Emrakul, you know? Really good one for Golos to grab, too. Basically, any card that can replace a land in your deck and be functionally a spell is insane. Even though Sheldock's, like, not what it used to be, it's still amazing. Still a great, like, 6th to 8th pick. So there's there's a zesty line and a coward line. All right. Cruel Ultimatum? We got an Oliphant or a Counterspell. Now I can play Counterspell? I'm good on Counterspell. All right, Oliphant, definitely better than a Mountain. I'm in. I was unsure about Oliphant. I thought the other two cycling cards were very intuitive. Very, like I would be surprised if they hadn't been added. The Elephant, though, was the one I was less sure. They did not add all 5, just those 3. I also don't even want to warp. They have Mana Link in their deck. Let's just give it Trample. Oh, +2/+0? I win. Sick! Not super interested in discussing Lord of the Rings Limited right now. Black Lotus off the top to cast Narset. Damn. Sometimes when you call for it, you get it, you know? Gotta try. We're at a 4-mana time warp this turn. So if I play the P and K, I get value. If I play Jace, then I also get value. Pretty nice to have Jace when you're Mastery back. Time Walk. And then I could just Mastery still this turn. Yeah, I don't know. This does set up lethal next turn. If they play a Sweeper, then I can just play the Jace then. That's fine, right? And playing the P&K is like drawing a card off Jace that turn, right? You still +1 card. This sounds like cope. This sounds like cope to me, coming out of my own mouth. It's just as good. Why would it be worse? So the good news is the Time Walk's getting shuffled back into my deck. The bad news is I don't have a Narset in play. Yeah, there's just so many walks, right? And like we've got we could actually draw the walk, we could draw Time Warp, or we could draw Mystical Tutor to like go get it. Just so many ways to win from here. I feel like Fiery Confluence is gonna be one of my better cards in this matchup. Might be another one to cut Metamorph. Or actually, we don't know. Maybe they're the Tinker deck. Maybe Metamorph is good. Maybe Image is good. Maybe Welder is good, just for their shit. A lot of weird considerations. Yeah, I'm going to leave Metamorph, but not bring in Image without more information. And I'll value slamming Narset a little bit more. Now that I've seen the draw 7. Mutoid Man, ladies and gentlemen. Gila. We can keep this. Oh, they're clamping? They're clamping over there? No, I've expected that. Nah, that takes too much mana, Bogart. Is this the same deck? What the fuck's going on? Also good against Clamp. So we pondered and found Faithless Looting. We could Cruel this turn. I think I'm supposed to Jace. Probably should have kept the Daze. We discarding? You know, this was a Zesty Line stream. Only when it hits. Oh, I did that wrong. Way to put a land on top. Well, I don't have to Lilia this turn. Maybe holding Mystic Confluence is better. Yeah, I was planning on Lilia, attack, play a land off the top, Seed Shark, pass. It's a better line for the just like setting up Mystics' back time walk. Wow, the opponent's having some miserable draws. Alright, I'm gonna put 2 lands back so I don't fuck it up again. And then we just have lethal here. Oh, I missed that this would pump the Lilia. I should have done this pre-combat, huh? Oh, I needed the land. That's right. With the way that I brainstormed there. Naturally. Boop. Yeah, rough draws on their part, huh? Oh, shit, what up? Hey, Westab, thanks for the sub, thanks for the 14 months. And on Monday, I'm gonna have a new ISP. So tomorrow, I've got someone stopping by to, like, put in a water line for my new fridge. And they're gonna be coming between, like, 3 and 4. I think if I wake up, like, before noon, very unlikely, but if I wake up around noon, I might just go live then. And then just, like, when they get here, leave to, like, show them my kitchen and then come back to the stream. Blue Mirror. I want to start early tomorrow. I want to start really early because I'm going to be cutting out around 7 something for a bit. And I always try and go hard during Vintage Cube season because it's so much fucking fun. All right. Island? Mountain. Okay, could have been worse. Pretty bad, though. Hey, the Grim Engineer, thanks for the 10 months there. Appreciate it. And then by Monday... I'll have a new ISP, ideally. And then I won't have to dig around. During my peak hours. I won't have to cut out during my peak streaming hours anymore. So fucking infuriating. Just the stone worst. If I could pick, like, the worst time of day for my internet to repeatedly cut out, it'd be between 7 and 9. Interested in the Karn Resolved. Yeah, the first time I got fiber in the area, there was only one option, Matronix. And now I supposedly have, like, 3. But one of them's, like, using the... Well, anyway, I don't have to talk about that. I'll stream. Noise. Yeah, I'd give you the Metamorph too. How goes the cubing? Goes going fucking well. 2 weeks to CubeCon Blunt Lord. Yes. Do I have a day job or just stream? Just stream, Tub Goat. Last month I streamed at 222 hours, which is my lifetime high. But I've been streaming full time since 2016, so 7 years now. Usually do 30 to 40 hours a week streaming, and then there's like some offline work that you have to do. Well, that's bad for me. I don't think I want a Mystical Tutor here. I don't think I want to cycle Shark Typhoon either. Take 3 turns. We can take 3 turns when we can overload this. It takes 8 mana. We only have 7 right now. I think I'm supposed to cycle my Shark and attack. Gross, Cool. Glad I'm not facing any of those cards. I could counter 3 of these with Mystic Confluence. I think I'm still supposed to be Shark Typhooning. Brain Freeze? What's 4 times 3? 12. What are the odds that I fucking deck here? Hey, oh my, Gyarados, thanks the sub, thanks the 4 months. Yeah, you got it, friend. I'm not sure Mystics did get better. Like, if we only have like 5 cards in our graveyard and we flashback Cruel Ultimatum. They don't brain freeze? They're not brain freezing? Oh, they're worried about my Mystics' mastery. Wow. Alright, cool. I think we're in a good spot then. That changes everything. I don't think I'm trying to overload mastery anymore. I think what I'm doing is attacking with Shark, metamorphing Shark, flashing back Warp. Now I gotta decide if I want to overload this Mortars or not. I kind of feel like this Emery doesn't matter. Do you give me the Art Trail or the Black Lotus here, with this being your board? I I think I had a Cruel Ultimatum this turn, right? Mystical Tutor. Maybe not. Two turns. Did I have the Chromox in hand? Is that how I got to 8? I was counting myself as a mana short. I might have stopped. I might have not recalculated it after drawing a Mox. Overload Mizium. Well, I didn't have 8 mana, or did I? I must have, because I didn't pay life when I metamorphed. Yeah, I think I just miscounted my mana. No big. Feel like we got him pretty well locked out. Oh, showed up. The MTG army links the 14 months. So doing artifact stuff. They got a lot of counters. I wonder if Image is better than Metamorph. Metamorph plays better with Karnstrucks, especially with versus Ugin downtick. I think that's a relevant consideration. Defensive Welder. If we were a little bit better about putting their things in their graveyard, I might like it more. Tali's not crazy, Just covering a couple more Brain Freeze triggers is all. Potentially a bad keep here. How do we cast Cruel? We have a Mizzix's Mastery to flashback Cruel. And we have cast Cruel several times now with Black Lotus, actually. The late game Black Lotus. Triple fixing us. Fuck. Yeah, there's something to play in the Zerta here. No drain blocks. Blocks! I said blocks! Now they're gonna play a fucking Ugin on me. No one ever listens to Plox. Plox should take precedent over fucking, I don't know, everything. Yeah. Alright. We'll just rip for this Atali. It'll be alright. Down ticking here runs into the Ugin uptick, because I'd only be making a 3-3. Do you Ludovic the Walker? Not to be the player. Hey, sidearm curve. Thanks for the sub. Thanks for the 7 months. Opponent in the tank. What do? Alright. That's pretty good. I was going to down tick Karn, make a token to attack with on my extra turn. Get the Ugin from ulting. Now the Ugin's going to ult, and I imagine, I don't know, but I imagine that that'll be a game-winning play. The artist for this song? Ken Hensley. And it is a remake of a song that he originally authored when he was with the original Uriah Heep. He came back years later and remade a lot of his original tunes, updated them and such. Well, that seems pretty good. Okay. Okay. I see where you're going with this. Alright. I won't blame the extra cards. Now we're trimmed, we're sleek. We got it. Look at this, already getting better hands. I'm gonna Otawara Ponder on one. Save the Tarn for a shuffle. I think I like keeping the Cruel. To loot away with Stowaway. Would be a nice one to have in the bin, A cool way to die. Yeah, it was great. I think I even want that 4th land. Yeah, I'm not even going to shuffle. But the option, that's the important thing. I was going to play Karn here, but I get my Lelia back. That's the best part. That's the best part is they spent their turn answering my Lelia. And I'm like, alright, now discard 3, and I'll draw 3, and I'll return the card you killed. I'm actually level 1 here for the sound effects. Boom! Have you ever played Cruel Ultimatum in Vintage? You have not? You've played some weird ones. This isn't coming out of nowhere. So Daze doesn't work on that, right? Yeah, I don't think paying for Daze counts as casting. I don't think you can use Mightstone for it. Could Daze that one. I suppose I can loot first. And then we either pass turn, flip Suspicious, keep up Mystic, or play 2/3s. I think that's better. I'm just gonna leave out the Mystic. I like talking about it out loud convinced me that that was the right line here. I mean, we get Cryptic back here. Very tempting to run out an Narset, but I'm going to do this. Turn off the Ancient Tomb, right? And so we just like have it unblockable here. Turning off the Ancient Tomb makes the days a lot better too. Yeah, I almost just went into combat with Suspicious. Think I'm glad I did it this way. Nice! First draft, first trophy. That deck was fucking sick. Opponent said, great games. Have been enjoying your YouTube content. That's right, folks. We've been getting, like, basically borderline daily videos.